That's really what TDC has here. And so I look at my job today as twofold. One, to applaud, commemorate, and recognize the achievement that this company has established over the last 50 years. And at the same time, I'm kind of like christening a new ship, setting it off for the next 50 years or longer. And you're the crew, and I'm just the guy coming along with the champagne bottle. So I'm very thankful to be here, and I kind of want to get the ball rolling with a thought of, I don't know everything about your company, but I'm here, I do know a lot about teams, and I've been very fortunate to travel the nation and speak to some organizations and be part of organizations that really put teamwork, put commitment, put dedication to light in a fun but encouraging way. And I know you're a captive audience, you probably have to be here, but I welcome you to be here. In 1963, a professor, Dr. Henry Lorenz, established probably one of the second most famous theories in all of the science world. And we're all familiar with Einstein's equals mc squared, but we may not be as familiar with Dr. Lorenz's theory, but we've seen it in a lot of movies. The short name of it is the butterfly effect. And the long name of it is sensitive dependency on initial consonants. Now, when you leave today, you're all going to get a credit hour in science, so that is good. But Dr. Henry Lorenz proposed this idea. He studied meteorological patterns, and he wondered to himself, how does a tsunami begin? Because 1 minute there's not a tsunami, the next day we're talking about a tsunami. It's almost an instantaneous event. Hurricanes, and all sorts of other weather patterns. And that's what he wanted to know. And his hope was, by discovering this, he could maybe help prepare people for these catastrophic events. But this sensitive dependency on initial consonants isn't just for the science world. It's also an important thought and concept to take with us each day at work, because storms grew from the very beginning, according to Dr. Henry Lorenz. And he was laughed at when he first offered this theory up. It wasn't until about 30 years later that science was able to prove that his theory was correct. In science fiction movies, they use the butterfly effect in time travel a lot. And a character will go back in time, and a character will make some small change. And then when they travel back to the future, that small change put in this giant effect that altered all society. How many are familiar with seeing that maybe possibly in a movie or a book or a story like that? Sure, we all are. That same principle, that butterfly effect, can be applied to our family. It can be applied to our children. It can be applied to our work by changing the initial constant events of our day, of our work week. These small patterns, Dr. Henry Lorenz said, that molecule that's set into motion excites the molecules around it, which excites the molecules around it, which excites the molecules around it, which excites the molecules around, and so forth. And that's the butterfly effect. In his doctoral thesis, he said, in theory, a butterfly in China could flap its wings, and it could set forth the molecules around it into motion, which set the molecules around it into motion, and so forth. And then these molecules that are set into motion, this dependency on this initial event, in theory, it could affect the molecules to a point where a hurricane happens on the other side of the world. Now, when I first shared this with my 4 daughters, they were afraid of butterflies for weeks until I explained to them it's just a theory. But I don't know about you, but some days when I'm not intentional about my mornings, when I'm not intentional about my attitude, I spin the attitude wheel. I don't know if you've ever done this. You get out of bed, it's like a giant wheel on The Price is Right. And on this giant wheel, you have one very thin column that says, great attitude. And right next to it, you have one that says, bankrupt. The next one says, evil, all right? And good. And you have all these various thoughts. And unless we're intentional, we spin the wheel, don't we? Let's see what our coworkers are going to get today. And that's your attitude when you go out the door. Unless you're intentional. Now, when you're intentional, and this is leadership, when you're intentional, you may not be having the best day, but it's your approach. It's your tenacity, your unwillingness to waver, to give in, to surrender to the toothpaste tube that won't cooperate, to the puddle your shoe stepped in, to the car that's having trouble starting. It's that tenacity, that intention on your way to work, about the music you decide to listen to, the thoughts you decide to carry into your head, the smile that you put on your face before entering the door. Because once you enter the door, once you wake up your children, once you start your day, you, my friends, are the little butterfly. You are putting molecules into motion that impact other molecules, your co-workers, that are impacting other molecules. And pretty soon, a leader, a person of influence, has impacted the entire corporation, their clients, and possibly the whole week. The great thing about TDC is that this little butterfly put its molecules into motion a long time ago into the right direction. And they've been on a course of recruiting incredible assets, you, into their corporation. They know you have talent. That is not the question. The question is, are you intentional with the talent? Are you continuing to improve and continuing to have influence and continuing to go forward? Because it can set different events and different emotions. Now, 1 is a very big number. It's an incredible number. One small change in the butterfly effect can have a tremendous outcome. Earlier this year, I interviewed a gentleman, and someone I really respect, someone I really admire. And I have a set of questions I asked them. I want to know who they hang around with. I want to know who they admire. I want to know the books they read. And I also always want to know if they have set any resolutions for themselves. Because leaders are about self-improvement. They're about being good, having influence, and then not settling. And I asked this gentleman, and I knew it was a trick as soon as I asked him. I said, "What's your resolution for the year?" And he said, "Well, my resolution for the year is health-minded. I want to do 1 push-up a day." Now, this guy's in pretty good shape. And I said, "Come on, what's the trick?" He says, "There's no trick." He says, "I just want to do 1 push-up." I said, "Where's 1 push-up going to get you?" He goes, "Well, I know this. If I get down on that floor to do 1 push-up, you and I both know I'm not going to do 1 push-up. I've gotten on the floor. And I'm going to do a series of push-ups. And so if I tell my mind, hey man, all you got to do is 1 push-up, you will get on the floor. But if you sit down and write down, okay, today we're going to do 4 sets of 20. After that, we're going to do some squats. We're going to go for a 3-mile run. We're going to walk the dog. It's not happening. And I was impressed because it's a Jedi mind trick to get down on the floor. I don't know about you, but I got a lot of workout equipment that hangs up my clothes very, very well. I have trouble getting myself motivated to get on with it. And so I took my friend's advice. And I decided I'm going to apply it in different areas. And it's worked really well. 1, I have owned my guitar for 3 years. I can't play anything on guitar. Nothing. That was until January 1st. This principle that I'm sharing with you, this do 1 thing, make 1 small improvement, is called the Kaizen way. It's a Japanese philosophy that was incorrectly applied, where they demanded that all their employees make improvements every day. Now that doesn't work when we demand things of others. But when we as leaders can influence an outcome and encourage people to self-improve by providing them with recognition, by providing them with encouragement, by providing them with models. Then the Kaizen way works very well. And so, like my friend, I decided I'm going to play one chord a day on this guitar. One small problem, I don't know any chords. But there's this thing called YouTube. All right? And I said, by the end of the year, I want to learn 3 chords. Because one of my favorite U2 songs says, all you need is 3 chords and the truth. Right? And I thought, man, maybe I could write my wife a song or something like that. Something romantic. And now it is middle of February. And I know 5 chords. I can play them. They're a little scratchy. But I accomplished more in 2 months by trying to apply one small change per day than I accomplished in 3 years of writing things down on a piece of paper and saying, this is the plan. It's simple. Come to work. Get in the car. Wake up. Look your family in the eye. Have an attitude of gratitude and say, I'm going to make one small change today. What could that small change be? I don't know. It's entirely up to you. Now, I mentioned a minute ago of recognition. Recognition is the single greatest reward that a leader can provide for anybody. Actually, that's not true. The single greatest reward a leader can provide anybody is a trip to Hawaii. That's the greatest reward a leader can provide. But if you can't afford to get everyone a trip to Hawaii, then I encourage you to recognize them. When people walk in the door, they want to have a sense of purpose. They want to have a sense of fulfillment. Studies have shown more people leave corporations because they don't feel important. They don't feel fulfilled. They don't feel recognized. And money is like 3 or 4. The number one problem with retention is this sense of worth. That's amazing to me. So how do we deliver that? It's easy. We recognize people for the outcomes that we want them to have. My children, it works for them. They love a kind word. They can tell when it's sincere, and they can tell when it's fake. They want a little bit of my attention. They want a little bit of time out of my day to recognize them. I love that too. I heard one lady, I was walking by over there to wipe off my face. I know it's really hard to take advice from a guy with a dirty face. I apologize for that. I know. It's crazy. I was walking by and I heard one lady, whoever you are, thank you. I want to give you a huge hug afterwards. She goes, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah! We love that. We love it. I'm driving down the road. I know you're not supposed to do this. I was driving down the road taking my whole entire family. I got $4 and a wife. Great family. We're going on a trip, and you're not supposed to do this. But I decided to stop through a fast food line, and the kids were a little cranky, and I thought I would get them a quick snack in the car. Bad idea. Junk food, fast food, horrible idea. And I don't remember what we ordered, but I remember my daughter ordered a large French fry. We're driving down the road, and we probably should have gone in and eaten because it's a lot safer and things like that. But we're going down the road, and I'm focused on the road because there's crazy people out there. It's really hard to be a leader on the highway. Have you ever noticed that? You're more like, it's like Mad Max out there. So it's more like being a survivor. I was trying to make all the right decisions and stuff. And all of a sudden, from the back seat, I heard, woo! Yes! Ah! Woo-hoo! And I'm about to turn the wheel and wreck the car. I thought a snake had gotten inside, somebody was injured. I wasn't exactly sure what it was. And there, I look in the back seat, and there is my daughter, holding with her thumb and index finger a giant onion ring. All right? This is an onion ring, okay? Probably not even worth a nickel, okay? Probably not even worth a nickel. Yes! Look at this. Woo! My other daughter has her cell phone out, taking a picture of said onion ring and putting it on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. You're not going to believe this. My sister got an onion ring inside her French fries. That's crazy. My wife even turned around. She's like, that's pretty cool. I'm driving down the road and I'm thinking, an onion ring? Everybody, I spent all this, we're going on a trip. I got hotel rooms, we got park passes. And you weren't even this excited about what I announced for lunch. And now, an onion ring? What was it about that onion ring? It was unexpected. It was unexpected. When my boss, and I'm a 7th grade English teacher, when my boss calls me into the office for evaluation, I work hard. I expect a pat on the back. I'm like, yeah, here it comes. Yeah, they're going to get to that part. Okay, yes. I'm sticking my shoulder up, you know. I expect that. Because I worked hard for that. And it's evaluation time. And that's what happens. But when my boss walks down the hallway and says, hey, I saw what you did there. Really appreciate that. I appreciate you staying after school to help those kids. You went above and beyond. Come here. High five, fist bump, onion ring. It feels incredible. Just one small thing that we can do. But it doesn't always have to come from the top down. This idea of recognition can be passed from coworker to coworker. And breaking news, it's free. It's free. It gives everybody a sense of warm fuzziness and welcome, but it needs to be sincere. So I ask you today to be two really weird things. A butterfly and an onion ring. A butterfly in your corporation and an onion ring to your coworkers. Now, I have written a book on leadership. And I'm going to see if I'm mobile.
You have to turn it on the bottom.
Thank you. Isn't that great? I've been recognized by Apple Computers, Google, and PBS. And I can't turn the microphone on. Fantastic. Got a little feedback, I apologize. Over here, we covered these up on purpose. People walk in and they see a book and they're like, oh my gosh, they're going to make us read. I'm going to go without. We have a book for everybody. And it's amazing. If you want to learn, if you really want to learn, teach. If you really, really, really want to learn, try writing a book on a topic. And then when you tell people what the topic was that you wrote about leadership, they're like, what qualifies you to write a book? Like, where are your scars? What accomplishments have you had? It was an incredible study for me. I coached 19 years for a football team. I've gotten to work with some amazing corporations. Today's a learning experience for me as I prepared for today. I've learned a great deal about leadership in preparation for today. That's how careers work. Now, I was recognized by Google and Apple for technology in the classroom. I'm very proud of that. Put that on a lot of pieces of paper. I want people to know that. Those are two incredible organizations. Not unlike this organization, which is also an incredible organization. But what I really admire most about Google and Apple, despite where you are in the technology coolness factor, Google and Apple recognize something called beta. I love it. How many have smartphones? How many wake up one day excited when the little red icon comes on, you've got an update. We've got new features. I wish my car would do that. I wish my dog would do that. Wake up, my dog's got a little red dot over his head. Learn a new trick overnight. Hey, I can roll over this morning. I really like beta. Because beta says we can be better. Apple, the greatest corporation on the planet. Google, the greatest corporation on the planet. We can get better. That's where they live. They live in beta. They're constantly rolling out new features. I admire that so much. And that's what I've really learned leadership is. Leadership is bringing out the best possible abilities out of all those you work with. And understanding that everybody's a project beta. When a mistake happens, celebrate it. Woo-hoo! High five. We made a mistake. Because the tenacity factor of leadership says, we're going to learn from this. This is one we will not be repeating for a very long time, if ever. That was beta. Now we move forward. I admire that. I'm a teacher. My whole 25 years of service is about beta. I'm trying to become a better teacher every day, every year. My students, I'm trying to get them to become their best self. A lot of people walk around and go, what's the secret of life? If you're not, you should be. Here it is. Spoiler. Become your best self. Become your best self. And you discover the secret to life. And I really stand by these ideas. I believe nothing is unfixable when it's injected with leadership. It can be a family. It could be a school. It could be a corporation. It could be yourself. When you step up and make the decision to lead and to become a leader, everything changes. And you don't have to have a title to lead. Now, I was on 19 different football teams. We had some great success. We never got a state champion. We chased it for a very long time. The greatest teams I ever was a part of coaching were the teams where there were just a ton of leaders. We had captains, sure. We had the kids vote on captains. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about captains. I'm not talking about coaches. I'm not talking about assistant coaches. I'm talking about leaders. I'm talking about people who did jobs that they didn't have to do. People who said things they didn't have to say. People who stood up when others sat down. People who spoke up when others remained quiet. This is leadership. The kid who didn't play much. When he was a leader, the team was better. The all-star. When he led, the team was better. The assistant coach, me. When I led, we were better. Leadership is this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful quality that we should constantly be in pursuit of. In this book, I outline 6 elements of leadership. Now, there are thousands of elements of leadership. And if Cleveland wants, I can take the time, we can go through every one. But I think we want to move forward. Mastering 6, kind of like my theory on learning the guitar this year. I'm never going to perform in front of anyone. It's just for myself. 1, my wrist gets stronger. My forearm gets stronger. My shoulder gets stronger. My tricep gets stronger. My neck gets stronger. My back gets stronger. Do you see what I'm talking about? All I'm focused on was the bicep because it looks cool. When we work on one leadership element, maybe it's communication or our attitude, we improve all elements of leadership. Now,
This is really important. Most important thing I can say today.
now, sometimes people don't know what I use when I do my performances. It's chalk. Now, this chalk is incredible. It's fairly expensive chalk. It comes crated in a box. It's packed with bubble wrap and sheets of protection all around it. So when it's shipped to me, it's not damaged. It's very soft. That's what makes it go onto the canvas. It's actually a bed sheet up there, a stretched bed sheet. It's very soft, and that makes it go onto the canvas rather easily. Now, a few things about this chalk. I have to be careful with it. When I fly to other parts of the country, I carry it with me in a little diaper box, and it sits in my lap. You ought to see the people when they check it. It looks like little sticks of dynamite. You, in the room. You saw me with a rubber glove. You ought to see them. I have to be incredibly careful with it. If I press too hard, it dissolves. It's very soft. But people mistakenly think that that is its weakness. They're like, oh man, that's too bad that your chalk is so soft and you have to be so careful. No. Problem with life is we go through life thinking some things are our weaknesses when they're actually our strength. If the chalk wasn't soft, it couldn't go onto the canvas. Now, that's its strength, and I have to honor that. And I protect it, and I keep my chalk safe. Now, I didn't draw the picture with just one piece of chalk. I used lots of different colors. If I'd drawn with one piece of chalk, that would have been incredibly boring. Yes or yes? We're still waking up, I'm sorry. Yes or yes? Okay. I didn't use just one piece of chalk. I used all sorts of chalk. Different colors, different sizes, different shapes, even different hardnesses. And that's cool. When I use my hand to blend those colors together, that's when the magic happens. That's when a sky starts to look like a sky. That's when the water starts to look like water. The blending of colors, the blending of textures. Chalk is a lot like everybody in this room. Different shapes, different sizes, different hardnesses, different strengths, different colors. Each individually can do an amazing job in the hands of an artist. But when they're mixed together and blended, that's when you get a masterpiece. Thank you all very much for listening to me today. I hope one or two of my words sinks with you, makes a difference, makes you a better person, appreciate life a little bit more, and accomplish a little bit more. Now, before I go, please invite me to travel to each of your homes, to sit your family down on the couch, to play a little bit of music, and perform a chalk art piece in front of your entire family so you could share the experience with them. But Brady, being the wise leader that he is, decided that would take too long and be far too expensive. Could everybody get an art print of what Kelly accomplished today? And so you will. Everybody will get an art print today. And on the bottom of this one, it's going to have a little motto, just like yours will today. And if anybody would like to have their book autographed afterwards or their photo signed, I would be happy to do that. I hope that you look wherever you hang this up, your garage, the refrigerator, wherever. I hope it's a little inspiring to you when you think about today. And you take a look at the lighthouse a little bit differently. Lighthouses are beacons of light, and they do two things rather well. One, they point the direction that we need to go, and they also point out the dangers of where not to go. And each of us needs to be a lighthouse, a butterfly, and an onion ring. I hope you took notes. God bless you all. Thank you very much.